Hello, and welcome to episode 42 of the West Aurora 129 podcast. I'm Dr. Michael Smith, Superintendent, and I'm pleased to bring you another insightful conversation in this season's series highlighting the leaders within our district. In today's episode, we'll peek into their journeys, highlight their dedication, and showcase the impact they have each day on their schools and community. Today, we're focusing on Goodwin Elementary School, a building rich with history and named after Lucia Goodwin, a respected educator who taught math at West Aurora High School from 1903 to 1936, and during that time where she led the math department. Continuing this legacy of leadership, I'm pleased to introduce Mr. Jeff Hetrick, the current principal of Goodwin Elementary School. Welcome, Jeff.
Good morning, Dr. Smith. Thanks for including me. I'm happy to be here and a part of a conversation about, our district and Goodwin and all of the people involved.
Very good. Next, we turn our attention to Greenman Elementary School, named after Professor Arthur Greenman, who served as superintendent from 1890 to 1909, the longest superintendent tenure in our district's history. Building on this legacy, we're honored to have Miss Kelly Papp, the principal of Greenman Elementary School, join us today. Welcome, Kelly.
Welcome. Thank you, Dr. Smith, for having me today. And I'm excited to be a part of this podcast with Jeff Hetrick. So thank you for having me.
Very good. Let's get to it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Both of you began your careers as elementary classroom teachers, Jeff in the Chicago Public Schools and Kelly right here in District 129. Did you always envision becoming building leaders, or did something else inspire you to pursue this path? Jeff, if you want to start us off.
The path to where I'm seated now has been an interesting path. I started my education at Indiana University not knowing that I wanted to become an educator, and it wasn't until I experienced some field work the freshman year that I really was inspired into this field. Same thing with becoming an administrator. I didn't realize that I wanted to be a principal of a building, but I've always had a penchant for leadership. I've been in other leadership roles throughout my lifetime, whether it was in college as a vice president of my fraternity, or even back in high school when I was in student council. So, it wasn't until I actually experienced field work in leadership back in Chicago Public Schools that I realized that I wanted to be an agent of change within the school system.
Sure. That's awesome. So life steered you this direction.
Yes, life steered me this direction. I think
good.
It's kind of my philosophy on things. Things
Very
happen
good.
organically.
Kelly, how about you?
So I actually began my teaching in District 129 at Nancy Hill School. And early on, I wanted to make a difference, obviously, for children. That's why we go into education. But I was really inspired by Cindy Leary, who is now the principal of Herget Middle School, but she was the principal at Nancy Hill. And she really inspired me and pushed me to continue to be a leader. She gave me many leadership opportunities in the building at Hill, but then that kind of pursued me to want to do more.
Sure. It always helps when we have those who see leadership in us. We don't always see it in ourselves. Yeah. And Miss Larry is one that has done that for many folks. So that's really neat that through our system, a leader saw leadership in you, and look at where you are today.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, there are some commonalities in the story that you all share, especially in District 129. You both spent time at Hill and Greenman before your current roles. Can you share more about the collaboration and experiences you've shared together? Kelly, if you'd like to start us off.
Yeah, so Jeff came to Hill as our assistant principal, and actually, funny story, he was my evaluator that very first year, and I didn't have the best day of teaching, and Jeff gave me a second opportunity. We kind of talked through some things, and he helped me realize that not every day is going to be your best day, but you always have the opportunity to make it better. And so that kind of started what would turn into our friendship. And as a colleague, I really looked up to him because then he served as my mentor when I became an assistant principal. And then from there, we both became principals at the same time. So we've just kind of shared that experience along the way.
Good. That's good. I love that. Not every day is going to be perfect. There's a leadership lesson right there. We could talk all day about that one. All right. But we still have to wake up tomorrow and step into the role and keep moving forward. That was great advice. No pressure, Jeff, in terms of guiding her. But can you talk about the two of you, or your collaborations?
Yeah, coincidentally, Kelly mentioned that one of the people that inspired her to become who she is today is Cindy Larry. And that was my mentor when I first came into the district, because I was her assistant principal at Hill. And it's funny that we share that connection, because I feel like Kelly and I have been we've walked the path together every step of the way.
Sure.
We left Hill together to go to Greenman. We left Greenman to step up into new roles. And, as we collaborate now and in the future, I think we can always look back to the time that we had to work together and, create that relationship that we did.
That's awesome.
And honestly, that's what education is building relationships with those that are around you, that inspire you, that cause you to want to do better. And I think that's something that Kelly and I will always have.
100%. I love that. And what I can appreciate and love about our school district is that story can be told 100 times over as it relates to interactions and connections that staff have had throughout their careers, all contained in 129, which makes us a pretty special place to be, and why folks have many opportunities if they open themselves up to them to see different things, to learn from different folks, as long as, like I said, we're open to acknowledging that the person sitting to our left or to our right has something to offer and can help us be better tomorrow than we are today, as much as we're looking to support them as well. So I appreciate that you guys shared those personal anecdotes. Now let's talk about the principalship. That's why we're here. All right. So what is something surprising about your daily role as a principal that your listeners may not expect?
I'll go first. If you'd like, Kelly.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think this is a tough one. As I sit and reflect upon, all of the daily activities that we do and, think through, and as I reflect upon that, I think one of the special things that's important to me that maybe people don't realize is how many connections that I have. We have 320 students, and I have 320 unique connections that I cultivate on a daily basis. And that's just students. So, thinking about staff and even parents that I see on a daily basis, nurturing and fostering that rapport and that interaction, I think, is the most important thing to me. And just the vast number of uniqueness that has, people just don't realize. I think even in an industry where people are traveling to this place or that place, I don't think the consistency of cultivating, that many relationships on a daily basis is really understood.
Sure. No, I think you're spot on. The gesture of opening a door can set the trajectory of a family on the right path, because you don't know what it took to get them to school that day. So the gesture of someone helping them in the process is something that resonates with our family. So that family connection, as you talked about, it is important and a vital role of the principal. Thank you. Yeah. Kelly, what do you think?
So kind of continuing off of Jeff, I would say every day is a new opportunity. Like no 2 days are the same.
Sure.
You can some days be in classrooms, watching students learn. Sometimes you're working with staff and doing professional development. I mean, I just think there's a lot of opportunities throughout the day that it never looks the same. And what's special about that, I think, too, is that because I've been in School District 129 so long, I now have students I had are now parents, and I have their students at school. So
that means they got older. You stayed the same age, but they've
I
gotten
was the
older.
same.
That's
yes,
right.
I'm the same age. But it's been kind of neat because that also brings the family part to West Aurora.
100%. 100%. No, I love that. And I can say, in my observation of what you do day to day, Kelly, you lead one of our larger buildings, and consistently I do hear from parents when I talk to them, you talk to them as if they're the only person on the planet. So to be able to do that, both of you, to demonstrate that in the relationships you've developed with the families is a marker of your leadership, and that is appreciated. So talk about unique contexts. We have 10 elementary schools in District 129. So we work hard to move together, but we can't lose sight of the local context of the school communities that are being led. And there's always something special going on in each one of our buildings. Can you share a unique aspect of your school that you're especially proud of? Kelly, if you'd like to start us off.
Yeah. So one thing that is very unique about Greenman is we have 358 students that speak more than one language.
Wow.
So out of our 544, which is about 66%. So that's pretty unique. We also have about 13 different languages that are spoken. And on top of that, one thing I really think that makes Greenman unique is our staff. All 26 of our classroom teachers have their ESL certificate with about 8 other teachers, whether they're speech paths or our art teacher, also have their ESL certificate as well.
That's
So
awesome.
Something super proud of.
100%. And having that many staff members with their ESL certification definitely allows you to adjust to the needs of the student population that you serve. And that's tremendous. That is something definitely unique and something you all should be very proud of. All of the languages that you just talked about, you highlighted that all of your staff are ESL certified. Just to make sure we understand what that means, can you explain ESL certification? What does that mean?
Yeah, so that means they understand and learn about different strategies to support those students that have come from different language backgrounds.
And the acronym ESL basically stands for English as a Second Language.
Correct.
And we're acknowledging that our students are coming to us with a native language, and they're working hard to understand the language spoken here, obviously, of English. And your staff has worked hard to make sure they have the tools to help them better with that, even more so with that transition.
Yes,
Is that
correct.
All
Yes,
right, perfect.
thank you.
No problem. And Jeff, what do you think? What is unique about Goodwin? What would you say?
Something special about Goodwin that I feel unique and I like to celebrate is the fact that we house a special education program here at the building. We have students from all around Aurora, not just in North Aurora, not just in the community of Goodwin, but we have students that are coming from all around Aurora, and we are supporting those students in a specialized way. So I think the diversity that we can celebrate at Goodwin is very unique. I think that within that program, we try very hard to honor what the goals and IEPs are suggesting, and we have opportunities for our kiddos to mainstream in general education classrooms, which I think harbors a great characteristic on, real life. So all of the students at Goodwin are supporting each other and understanding each other and learning about each other. And I think that's something that really, I think the staff at Goodwin hang their hat on.
And if I can co-sign that via my own experience, you have modeled via your leadership team, you and your assistant principal, and you tapped into a resource of support with our assistant director of special education. I was recently at your building where you were speaking with your whole staff, and you were going over and reviewing strategies for all of the teachers to understand how to support students that would be found within your special education program. And what I loved was the embracing of that mentality amongst your staff. They're our kids. This isn't a program housed at Goodwin that only those teachers deal with or students that those teachers work with. It was embraced by your entire building. So that sense of access and desire to offer a quality education to all of your students is something that is truly awesome to see and was demonstrated via the professional development that you're providing and the openness of your staff to receive and really take to heart the lessons and strategies that they were learning to open their classroom doors to provide another layer of access for all of our students. What we will not stand for is the moniker of those kids. That's language that's not used here.
Correct.
They're all of our students, and that was modeled through that professional development experience. So thank you. So I will say, and lessons I've learned, and a lesson I'm still learning, we have to take care of ourselves. The jobs that you fill are challenging, they're demanding. Every one of the roles in our school district is such. But still, we're focusing on the principalship. And just to let us know a little bit about what you all like to do when you punch out, not that you ever really check out, because I know you're always thinking about how you can lead and support your communities better. But with the challenges that you face and everything that you juggle every day, finding time to unwind can be a challenge. How do you make time to unwind?
My turn?
Yeah.
I'll go first.
You guys are such educators. Is it my turn? Who's first? Who's second?
turn.
I'll
I
raise
love
my
it.
hand.
I love it.
So, with 4 children of my own, there's really zero time to unwind. But when I am able to find time, I really enjoy, as my children at home get older, attending sports activities at home. My oldest son is in baseball. My second oldest is in wrestling and MMA and things of that nature. So I really have come to embrace life and enjoying, watching my children grow. I'd like to call myself a runner. However, again, if I'm not pushing a double stroller with babies, I'm trying to find time to go out on a solo run by myself. But those are things that I really like to just come home, take a deep breath, and understand that I've got some good things going on at home that I
100%.
can relax with.
Love it. I love it. Thank you for modeling that. Kelly, how about you?
So I would just like to say that although I don't have children of my own, I often am spending time on the weekends with all of my nieces and nephews, running to some activity of someone's often. But usually on a typical day after work, I like to walk my dog, Sadie. That's very special to me. And then my other true place to unwind is in the kitchen. I love to cook. So that is definitely my kind of time to unwind and decompress.
Sure. I love it. I love it. And as a parent of 3 girls, the support network of who can drive when we're not available is always appreciated. So on behalf of your family who you're taking care of, we appreciate it.
Yep.
Believe me, I know that they thank you for that. And anytime you want to test a recipe out, I'm happy to be a taste tester.
All right.
So I love it. I love it. We have talked amongst our leadership team about defining what ownership looks like. Specifically, what does it look like, feel like, sound like? And each staff member we know matters in District 129. And as such, we are called upon to do the work needed in order to support the education of our district students. A question I will ask each guest this year, and what I now ask of you both, is what does ownership look like to you as you fill your role as building principal?
I'll go first. Okay, so I was thinking about this the other day, and I really think ownership means being proud of where you've come from and then also looking forward to where you're going. Mm-hmm. Because ownership is accepting those challenges and striving each day to do better. And I truly believe at Greenman that's what our staff and students choose to do. Of course, there's going to be, adversities along the way, but there's also going to be opportunities to improve. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of owning it. We need to come together as a staff, as a community, when things sometimes are difficult, so we can rise above and move forward.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you. Jeff, what do you think? What does ownership look like?
You mentioned something earlier that still rings in what I'm thinking. The door is always open. I think something that's important to me in my leadership style is that openness, that vulnerability. I think that's how I like to own my leadership and what goes on at Goodwin. Being able to admit, like you said, when there's adversities, admit if there's a mistake, or admit that maybe I thought through things incorrectly, and after reflection, we're going to kind of pivot some of those decisions. I think that the open door policy, the working together, I think is part of my nature, and I think that the idea of servant leadership is important, because as I walk along the path with those that I lead, I think it's important that it's shared. Mm-hmm. And I think that's I guess what I'm getting to is the shared leadership style, I think, is the way I own leadership. I think it's important that we all have equal opportunity in making decisions and in contributing to decisions. And I think that's what's important to me as far as, being vulnerable with the people that I work with.
Sure. No, both of you talked about, in terms of what does it look like, acknowledging that we're not perfect. As superintendent, if I've been asked, I've answered that way. We are not perfect, but we are committed to being better tomorrow than we are today. Mm-hmm. If we identify or garner new information that will help us adjust our decision-making, why wouldn't we want to change?
Yes.
Because that's that's ownership, right? And I believe the both of you articulated as much. And it speaks back to, or I'm reminded of the message I tried to share with staff about operating at your capacity. If you're operating at your capacity and you learn something beyond your capacity, that's the space for growth. But we have to acknowledge that, yes, we have lessons to learn from others. So that's good. I appreciate the fact that both of you articulated along the same lines in terms of, yes, we're working hard, but there's always room, if there's an opportunity, to adjust our practice so that we can be better. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we're getting close to the holidays and warm feelings of good food. How about that, Kelly? See what I did there?
I like that. I like that.
This is like your highlight, right? This is the time of year you love. But as we do approach the holiday season, I wanted to provide both of you with an opportunity just to share a message that you'd like to share both with your staff and your families as we approach a time of reflection and spending time with family and friends and those that we are fond of. What would you say?
I would say enjoy your family, enjoy your friends, enjoy the people that you care for, and really live in that moment. Put your phone down, disconnect from Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and really enjoy the people that you're with. I think that's the most important part, those relationships and cultivating those relationships and just living in the moment and not worrying about all of the other outside noise. So as we prepare to be off for 2 weeks, that's 2 weeks of an opportunity to make memories, and I think that's important during this holiday season.
That's good.
I would just like to say, kind of similar to Jeff, that we really want to be thankful for all the friendships and the families and relationships that we get to see over the holiday season, and also remind staff and the students and the families that we are still together, even though we're apart, but that we want them to take that time to make those memories, because those memories are what's going to lift you up on those days that maybe are gloomy, like today. And so we just really want to say, to enjoy that time.
Jeff and Kelly, thank you both for taking the time to share your insights and stories with us today. Your leadership and dedication truly make a difference in the lives of our students, staff, and families. It's been a pleasure hearing about the incredible work happening at Goodwin and Greenman elementary schools, and we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Please remember that you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, SoundCloud, and the TuneIn Radio app. I would encourage you to subscribe to our broadcast and stay tuned for next month's episode featuring the principals of Blackhawk Academy and West Aurora High School.